The brutal Trojan War was no laughing matter, but Paris's elopement with Helen of Troy, which jump-started the war, was, according to Offenbach's La Belle Helene. Thank you for joining us on Opera Avengers. I'm Alejandra Martinez, your guide to demystifying opera, an art form created by the people, for the people, and of the people. Today's podcast is brought to you by FreshBooks.com. Move your small business's accounting to the cloud with a free 30-day trial on www.gofreshbooks.com/opera. Additional support is brought by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/opera. Choose from over 180,000 titles to read on your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. As always, this podcast will include spoilers. In opera, there are so many nuances to absorb that knowing the story beforehand allows you to sit back and enjoy the performance without worrying about missing a subtitle or two. So think of our podcast as your cheat sheet and be free to enjoy every minute of high-flying opera. La Belle Helene is a 3-act opera bouffe, a comedic opera composed by Jacques Offenbach. In fact, Offenbach, who you may remember from Tales of Hoffmann, had a penchant for tackling legendary stories like Bluebeard and Orpheus in the underworld, adding sexual intrigue, risque gags, and razor-sharp parody. Additional sponsorship today is brought to you by the ancient city-state of Sparta. Desolate sandy shores, a proud people as harsh and unforgiving as the very landscape itself. This is Sparta, home of the Feast of Adonis, marking the anniversary of the handsome youth Adonis being gored to death by a boar while in pursuit of Venus, the goddess of love herself. So, pay us a visit, but mind your manners, or don't, and you may return home with fresh scars to show your friends. Paid for by the glorious city-state of Sparta. Act 1 of La Belle Helene opens in Sparta. People are preparing for the Feast of Adonis, placing gifts to the gods on the temple altar. Calchas, the grand augur, or high priest, is disappointed by the offerings, mostly flowers. Calchas thinks sacrifices of oxen and sheep would be more likely to appease the typically moody gods. A crowd of women arrives, mourning Adonis. Among them is Helen of Troy. She confides in Calchas that she has grown obsessed with a story. The 3 goddesses, Juno, Minerva, and Venus, demanded that Zeus settle a bet, determine who among them was the most beautiful. Zeus, aware of what a touchy subject this is, especially when superpowered god wrath is involved, instead outsourced judgment to a mortal named Paris. However, even Paris couldn't remain impartial, because each goddess tempted him with gifts if he picked them. Paris ended up naming Venus the winner because she promised him the greatest gift of all, the most beautiful woman in the world as his bride. Clearly, Helen reasons, she is the most beautiful woman in the world, and so it's only a matter of time before Paris comes to claim her. This would be even more problematic, considering she is already married to Menelaus. Calchas offers some quick words of wisdom, then sends her on her way so he can contend with another set of visitors. Helen's nephew, Orestes, a true playboy with a girl on each arm, brags about the steamy night they had. Calchas kicks them out of the temple because he has an urgent sacrifice to get to, but also to avoid the scandal of having the brazen trio tarnish his sacred place. But he is interrupted again by a shepherd who claims to carry a message from Venus herself. Calchas recognizes the shepherd as Paris. Venus's message affirms that it is Paris's destiny to meet Helen, his prize. Calchas can't resist such a juicy divine errand, and agrees to help Paris win Helen's love. Right on cue, Helen arrives, and she is smitten with Paris at first sight. But she puts some distance between them, burying her feelings. After all, it is time for the festival to begin. The kings of Greece propose that the strongest, burliest men compete in a contest of intellect under the direction of the drunk king Agamemnon. The competitors are Achilles, Menelaus, two men named Ajax, and Paris, still in his sheep-herding disguise. The cunning Paris manages to dominate at 3 ridiculously silly word games. Upon winning, Paris reveals his identity to the audience. Helen knows now, beyond a doubt, that he has come for her. Menelaus, in good spirits, invites Paris to a celebratory banquet. Wait, was that a gong? I think that was Calchas outside.
No, it is divine thunder, a clear signal of the gods' presence. They are telling me, I see it, that Menelaus must depart immediately and spend a month in the mountains of Crete. The gods have spoken.
Well, Menelaus takes the gods' demands very seriously, so he's already out the door. Thanks to Calchas, Helen's husband is out of the picture. Act 2 opens in Helen's chambers. Her attendants showcase several dress options for the evening, but they are far too revealing for her taste. Helen is clearly attracted to Paris, and hopefully a more modest outfit will cool her burning passion. Just then, Paris slips into her chamber and attempts to sweet-talk her. He lays 2 of his tried-and-true seduction techniques on her, but Helen resists. She kicks Paris out, but not before he vows to return and try his 3rd technique, cunning. Oh, that sounds like the kings of Greece. They've been playing the Great Goose Game for hours. It sounds like there's a riot breaking out. Apparently, Calchas has been accused of cheating? Weird, because the Calchas I know from history is revered as a beacon of truth. Anyway, Helen has been trying unsuccessfully to sleep. She has skipped dinner and locked herself in her room, doubling the guards outside. Sleepless and desperate, she sends for Calchas. She confesses her forbidden, adulterous emotions and asks Calchas to make a promise, to make her dream of Paris. Finally, she drifts off to sleep. Paris then sneaks into her chambers. Calchas shrugs, not one to interfere with fate, and leaves the 2 alone. Helen stirs, half awake, noticing Paris sneaking around. She decides that this is the dream Calchas promised her. She hesitates at Paris's advances, at least at first, until she decides that in her imagination she can be free from consequences. Just then, Menelaus bursts through the door to find his wife in the arms of another man. He explodes with rage, and Agamemnon and the other kings pile into the room, shouting at Paris, ordering the vile seducer to go back where he came from. Paris leaves, but not before threatening to return. Every shepherd has his day, he promises. And while Paris plots his next move, let's take a real quick break to hear a word from our sponsors. FreshBooks is offering a 30-day free trial to try out a new, easier way to send invoices, chart your expenses, and save it all to the cloud. To try FreshBooks free for 30 days, just go to freshbooks.com/opera. Additionally, Audible.com is offering a free audiobook download in addition to a free 30-day trial to test out their library of 180,000 books, including the unabridged The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. To download your free audiobook, go to www.audibletrial.com/opera. Again, that's audibletrial.com/opera for your free audiobook. Act 3 opens on a beach in Nauplia. The kings of Greece have come here for the summer season. Yet, thanks to freak weather, it is freezing cold. Helen has come to this beach hoping for some peace and quiet, having grown sick of her husband's complaining. Menelaus is obsessed, constantly asking why she insisted her encounter with Paris was just a dream. She shuts him up by threatening to cheat on him for real. Agamemnon observes that Menelaus is obsessed, seemingly more concerned with how he appears to his wife than to his country. The kings urge him to accept the fate Venus has decreed and to just let his wife go. Next, a flower-decked boat arrives, announcing the arrival of the Grand Augur of Venus herself. This mysterious man says he must take Helen to Cythera, where she must sacrifice 100 heifers to atone for her crimes. Menelaus, well, he thinks that sounds pretty reasonable. In fact, he begs Helen to go, trusting the word of a goddess. Even the kings insist that she go with the augur, but Helen refuses, claiming that Menelaus is the one who offended Venus and must repent. She continues resisting, at least until she gets a closer look at the augur. It's Paris, of course. Then she immediately agrees to come aboard. Helen and Paris sail away together at last. La Belle Helene has been a success with critics and audiences since its premiere in 1864, providing much-needed levity to a typically dark chapter of history. Until next month, I'm Alejandra. Thank you for listening. Opera Avengers is a production of the Great Lakes Light Opera, an organization based out of Cleveland, Ohio, dedicated to bringing opera and all local musical arts to everyone. Want to learn more? Visit us at greatlakeslightopera.com. Want to help out? Check our donation page or email us at megan@greatlakeslightopera.com. Oh, and let us know what you'd like to hear next.